Hello, everybody. This is Biff Strange yet again. Welcome you to Creativity Talk in episode 116 with V and his brother from another mother, Mr. Robert Armstrong.
Thank you, Biff. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
Can you bring the wine in, please?
Oh, I guess so. Do you want the 1 gallon glass bottle that Jorge left?
No, bring in the good stuff. Okay. Hey, Rob, what's going on, man?
Hey, Biff, how are you?
Good. So today,
Hey, Biff, how are you?
right?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you, Mr. Armstrong, for saying so. See, some people are nice, Mr. V.
Okay, Biff, get to working. So, Rob, tell everyone what we're going to do today.
We are going to be doing a review on the Reservation Dogs, and I'm going to try and keep away from my reservation accent as much as possible.
Sure you are.
Oh, speaking of which, hey, Biff, if you're on, do you have any Indian in you?
No.
You want some?
Oh, come on now. I may be on top of, maybe I was in some Indian, if you know what I mean.
I hear you.
So,
Curmudgeon you.
right? Yeah, so this is spoiler filled, by the way, everyone. So we're going to discuss the entire season, how it progresses from season 1. But first things first. Mr. Armstrong, what are you, what adult beverage are you enjoying today?
I am having some Apothecary Red. I forget the vineyard, but they have a line of different relatively cheap wines. And I say relatively, might be expensive for Jason, but
Right.
this bottle
Damn
goes
you.
for $13.
Yeah, Apothecary it's a really good wine. So, like,
Yeah.
it's something that, okay, the kids are going somewhere and, you're there with your spouse or whatever, and you're like, hey, let's have a nice dinner. Let's get a bottle of Apothecary. It's not way out of line, but it's like the higher end of the
Cheap wines.
more inexpensive wines. Yeah, but it's a good one.
Yeah. It is. It's not bad.
Yeah. Carnivore,
And
I
I'm
really
pairing that with a Padron
nice.
Maduro.
I really
Very
enjoy
good thing.
a carnivore when I have a steak. That's a really
That is a
one.
good one. Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's also good.
What were you smoking, Rob? I stepped on you there.
Oh, I'm having a Padron Maduro.
Nice.
So I was talking to my wife's cousin, and we're on the same wavelength where we like to have a very nice cigar that's going to take the amount of time to finish the cigar as it does to drink a bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of our mentality. It's like
Makes sense.
a nice cigar and a bottle of wine. And it doesn't, you don't get messed up, doing that. Have a good, pleasant, and it's a very nice night out.
Yeah, and you're in your yard. You're not going anywhere. Like, I'm not a bar guy. If I have a few cocktails or a couple glasses of wine like I'm doing tonight, I don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I have plenty of bars within walking distance. I just don't go to them,
Oh, yeah.
It's just not in my, I've been around enough drunk people working in entertainment for years that I don't need it. You know what I mean? Like you know exactly what I'm talking about, But I am enjoying a cheap wine. It's a very cheap wine. It's like $8 a bottle, maybe $7.
Okay.
Yosemite Road. It's a Cabernet
Sauvignon?
And the reason why I got it is because it has a bear on it, and Bear is one of the lead characters on Reservoir Dogs, Reservation
Segue.
Dogs, right? And I am smoking a Big Dog pre-rolled by Dog Walkers called. What the hell is it called?
Nice.
I don't know. It's called something, but it's Dog Walkers. I can't read it because I don't have my reading glasses on. So there. So, okay, gents and ladies and all in between, we're going to start out with Reservation Dogs, created by Sterling Harjo and Mr. Wakiti of Marvel fame. He also does a great show about vampires that's really funny. I can't remember the name at the moment, but it's pretty good. So this is on FX Network and Hulu, and I didn't see the commercial. I saw a graphic of it online somewhere, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch that. And then I didn't watch it, and then you're like, hey, did you watch it yet? I'm like, no, I didn't watch it yet. So then we both watched it, and then we watched it a while ago, and then other things happened, and we couldn't talk about it. So I rewatched some of the episodes, but I think this.
Yeah, I watched them all too.
I think this show.
Rewatched them, I should say.
Yeah, I think this show is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, episode 1, I must have belly laughed 10 times. Like, literally, I haven't laughed at a TV show like that since Sanford and Son or something. You know what I mean? Just real, straight up funny shit,
Yeah, yeah.
But, so it starts off with the reservation radio DJ, and in the background you hear "I Want to Be Your Dog," which is was that the original one or a cover? I think it was a cover. I don't know. It sounded more punky than the Stooges.
Yeah, I think it was a cover.
Yeah. And so we have this group of kids who I guess are, they are the Reservation Dogs. Let's go down here. The cast is Devery Jacobs as the Laura Dannon Postoke and DeFaro Wunatai. I may have said that wrong. I apologize if I did. And he's Bear Smallhill. Lane Factor is the Cheese. Paulina Alexis as Willie Jack. And I have to say, because they set it up as Devery Jacobs to kind of be the lead, because, she's the one who's wearing makeup. She's more, fashion aware, whatever, however you want to say it. And Willie Jack is kind of a tomboy, no makeup, but she steals the fucking show.
She's my favorite.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's the best. You know what I mean? She just walks in and steals it. But, then we have Funny Bone and Little Mike. We have Jackie Marisol as White Steve. Sarah Podemski, who I want to marry. Sarah Podemski. She's my not new. She's been around for a few years. She's a celebrity crush for sure. Yeah, when she shows on screen, I can't talk. So don't talk to me if she's on screen. Just shut up and just let it pass.
Let me have my moment.
Yeah, and Kirk Fox is the hilarious fucking white guy with the native philosophy shit when at the fucking junkyard. He may be part native. Salvage, yeah. Salvage. Yeah, so he may be, just, a sliver, I have no idea, but it's, it's funny. If you've been around the culture, there's a lot of very white people that show up and try to snag it. And it's just total, you know what I mean? And that just reminds me of that guy. I don't know if he's that guy or not. That's just what I picked up on it. But, and of course, also starring is the great Zahn McLaren.
Oh yeah.
He's great. Dude, I love that guy. Everything he's in is really good. And he's probably like, damn, I don't want to play something else other than a cop. I've been kind of a cop for a little bit here. But still different cops. You know what I mean?
It's almost like he's typecast.
Oh, totally. And he's just sitting there listening, like at the opening, he's just sitting there. The truck gets stolen. Truck drives right past him, and he's listening to something on the radio, which is like really kind of out there. And then, of course, also we cannot forget to mention the very talented Gary Farmer, who destroys everything that he enters. By destroy, I mean he just kills it. He's fucking that guy's on fire. Yeah, totally. He reminds me of you for some reason, Rob.
Body image?
No, it's not the fry bread, sir. No, just like his sense of humor in that role is very you to me. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I mean that is a compliment because I think that guy's hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's kind of
thank
like
you.
yeah, that's kind of like how I see it, and that type of you know, you're in for it. You'll follow the person. You're not really stressing out about it, and you're there for the ride, but you're also there because you need to be there, type of a thing,
Oh
and with good humor.
yeah. And I am the uncle, so
Oh, absolutely. Seth calls you uncle. You are uncle.
that's right. That's right.
Absolutely. And like, explain that to people who may not know, because what's great about this show is it introduces the native culture and the reservation life that probably 95% of the nation has no knowledge of, unless you live close to one. That's just seems, and it's not represented really in film and television. So this is like the first like series where they're not like, oh, you smoke 'em pipe. You know what I mean? They're not making fun of the
Yeah.
stereotype. It's just here's a fucking good show. Because it's
Well,
not
the
really a
thing
sitcom. It's a sitcom drama. It's
Correct.
fucking hilarious. It's got heavy shit, but it's still real.
And I think that's the key word right there. It's real because there are a lot of stereotypes in regards to the reservation, natives. A lot of it did hit home in regards to, especially the clinic scene, but we'll get to that later. But in regard to the reservation, I worked with a kid back in the mid 90s. And we were talking about the res one day, and he said that he hated to go to the res, and he basically refused to go to the res. I said, well, gas is, the gas is like 25 cents a gallon cheaper, but I refuse to go to the res. I'm like, why? He goes, to me, the res is like a tourist destination. It's we actually do. I was going to say did, but we still do have one of those stereotypical Indian statues. It must be about 40 feet tall, and he's got the hand like one of those statues with the war bonnet on, and along the New York State Highway or Thruway. But that's a gimmick, and I get it. But again, it's just when my coworker had said that he refuses to go to the res, he just thought it was just more of a tourist place, and just not like, I kind of knew what he meant, but at the same time, I'm just like, dude, you don't know what I really didn't fully understand, why he felt that way.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't imagine that he's by himself either. But I mean, as we progress with the show and everything, there's a lot of things that that stood out to me in regards to the stereotypes.
Yeah.
So, and one
because
thing
some of the stereotypes in this show are stereotypes that natives have against natives.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
so it's not
absolutely.
like a bunch of white dudes writing this show. It's native written.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that's the other hurdle that we need to get past is that, this is an Indian cast, Indian producers, writers, directors, writing a native show for natives,
right?
But it's obviously public access, and it's not. If you were to watch it, they're not. We don't live in teepees. We don't live in wigwams. And people still think that we do.
Right.
So it's just. I met a young girl many years ago, and I was, best friends with her uncle. And one of the first times I met her, probably the first time I met her, she was like 3 years old. 3 years old, and her uncle says, "He's Native American. He's an Indian." And she's like, "No, he isn't." And we kind of chuckle. Yeah, he is. Like, no, he isn't. I said, "Well, why do you say that?" Well, because he's not wearing any feathers. And this is
Wow.
coming from a 3-year-old.
Right.
So it's kind of like, so when you're watching this show, those stereotypes are out the window. You see the kids wearing, like you said, contemporary clothes.
Yeah. You mean clothes?
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's how, and oftentimes the people that are preaching that, the audience is being one way, it was like, well, you're not giving access to this stuff because you're stopping them from being represented because you want to change it into something it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 years ago, this show wouldn't have been made.
Probably not.
And, the fact that people still think, the people, live in teepees, I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, and that's not saying Rob can't pitch a tent, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, like, even like out here in Illinois, everything's, named after, native stuff here and there and, and certain people and tribes.
Oh, yeah.
But I never heard of Longhouse until you were my roommate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
that's another thing about what they haven't gotten into is the religion, our culture in regards to the religion. It's a lot of the what they do is present like what it is like on the reservation and in regard to beadwork for that matter. She does have a beat up, what we call a res runner. The dirty windshields and the broken mirror and stuff like that. I mean, it's not like it's what's that one movie from Alexis Sherman that was up?
Oh, Smoke Signals. Fucking
Smoke
driving
Signals
in reverse the whole fucking movie.
Exactly.
That was great.
But again, it just it was cool to see that when they started out the season or the episode 1 where they had the radio station, because we had a radio station and we had native programming on it, and it was very local. It was localized.
Right. And it's very easily relatable.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Because, for a lot of people who weren't radio listeners, they probably watched Northern Exposure for 10 years.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you know what I mean? Like that's what kind of like when it started, I'm like, oh, like it kind of reminded me of Northern Exposure. Like right away, I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another person I didn't mention, and I want to make sure I do because in episode 1, because he is fucking hilarious. He's the one who made me belly laugh more than once throughout the entire run, and that's the Unknown Warrior, played by the mighty Dallas Goldtooth. Holy shit! Oh my God, was he funny? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh, dude, that guy was hilarious.
Yeah, I was at the Battle of Little Bighorn, and came up over the mountain there a little rough, and I fell, and my horse fell on me, and I died. What? Yeah.
That was. Oh man, that guy is hilarious.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, and then go ahead.
Yeah, we got some guys like that on the res.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna read a description here of episode. Well, first I'll do it. Okay, from co-creators and executive producer. This is from FXNetworks.com, by the way. From co-creators and executive producers Sterling Haro and Taika Waititi, Reservation Dogs is a half-hour comedy that follows the exploits of 4 indigenous teenagers in rural Oklahoma who steal, rob, and save in order to get to the exotic, mysterious, and faraway land of California. Beer Smallhill is destined to be a warrior and a leader. The only problem is he's not a good fighter, and the gang doesn't really consider him the leader. But with the guidance of a questionable spirit guide, he might just get there. Elora Danon may be the true leader of the group, but she's also focused on getting to California. So obviously, and so oblivious to her own power that she often can't see the beauty and goodness in herself and all that's around her. Street smart, tough girl Willie Jack, our favorite, is the beating heart of the group. She really is the heart of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She's always looking out for her crew, while meanwhile, Cheese is a gentle, quiet ride-or-die guy who's so willing to go along with the group that he never stops to consider what his own dreams might be. So 1 year ago, Daniel, the fifth member of the Reservation Dogs, died. Struggling to make sense of the loss, the remaining four blame their boring small town and its ability to crush the spirit. They decide to honor Daniel by adopting his dream of getting to California as their own. To succeed, they'll have to save enough money, outmaneuver the meth heads at the junkyard at the edge of town, constantly dodge conspiracy-obsessed light horseman Big, who was played by Zahn, and survive a turf war against a much tougher rival gang led by the enigmatic Jackie. Reservation Dogs has native rappers Catfish, indigenous superstitions and spirits, both hilarious and terrifying, laughter, tears, unexpected grandmothers, decent people, terrible people, and a cavalcade of supporting characters who color the shade of this already vibrant world. Filmed on location in Okmulgee, is that how you say it?
Yep.
Oklahoma?
Yep.
Reservation Dogs is a breakthrough in indigenous representation on television, both in front of the camera and behind. Wow, that's a great thing to be known for. Every writer, director, and series regular on the show is indigenous. The first of its kind creative team tells a story that resonates with them and their lived experiences. And it invites audiences into a surprisingly familiar and funny world. There you go. So that's the deal of, or that's what you call it, the brain fart.
Premise.
Yeah, that's the premise of the show. Holy moly. But let's see. So episode number 1, called Fucking Res Dogs, directed by Sterling, written by Sterling, and dude, I can't say that guy's name today. Watiti. And so it's Elora, Bear, Willie Jack, and Cheese steal a delivery truck and sell it. They're trying to raise money to leave their small reservation community and escape to the exotic mythical land of California. They are mourning their friend Daniel, who died a year earlier, and hold a small memorial for him, and that's why they're dressed in the suits like in Tarantino's film. When a car full of teenagers, the NDN Mafia, drives by and shoots paintballs at the Res Dogs, Bear faints and encounters an indigenous spirit who attempts to give him life advice. So when Dallas Goldtooth's character comes in, the unknown warrior, he's literally time traveling from when he died at the Battle of
Bighorn.
Little Bighorn. So it like takes you out of it, but it's still fucking hilarious because the only person that can see this guy is Bear. But you know. Any thoughts on episode 1?
No, I thought it was hilarious. But, I mean, I was so happy to see how many natives that were introduced, especially with Little Mike and Funny Bone. You know, they're always...
oh, my God, those guys are great.
Yeah. I think they really add to the show without actually stealing a spotlight in any way.
For sure. They drop in, they fucking make an impact, and they leave.
Yeah, they say what they're going to say, and, you know, they don't.
You know,
Yeah.
They're not wasted characters.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? Because some people might, it's a small part. No, that's a fucking great part.
Absolutely.
Because everyone knows who you are.
Mm-hmm. So,
But-
yeah, I do like the Indian Mafia and the Reservation Dogs gangs. I hate to use the word gangs, but just because it's such a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But they do have, you know, their little cliques. You know, even on our reservation, you know, we had 5 or 6 different sectors of the reservation, and each sector had their, you know, little cliques. So it's kind of, there wasn't no fighting or anything like that. It was just, you know, their own cliques, basically.
Yeah. Same thing, different town.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But, yeah, like, they weren't Crips and Blood, they weren't portrayed that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like the gang of guys or girls or people you hang with, just like anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, the theme. So right off the start, there's a theme that this place killed him, and getting out is the theme.
Yeah.
It seems to be. So, so a lot of people wind up leaving and then they come back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, part of the other journey that, people might not know about if they have no clue or never had a friend who was, native or whatever, or listened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever episode it is, the hunting, not to skip ahead, but, the one thing that was really impactful about that whole thing is, when he talks to, her name, our favorite character, said, you can go to California, but you'll come back because you're going to see what you're going to be missing. And all he's talking about are your roots. Because, a lot of people on the res have never been off the res. I've known people that live on the res that have never been to Buffalo, which is like 30 miles away. And they had no interest on leaving the res, even, going to a concert or a hockey game or a football game. And there's some people that didn't even know how to get there. So, this is back in the 90s and early 2000s, so it may have changed by then, but still, it's still pretty surprising that here we are in the late 20th century and people still haven't gone into the city or, step foot out the res.
Right.
But that's kind of like the point that he was trying to make, is that, if you leave, you're going to realize what you're missing and you're going to come home. I did that, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was raised on the res and I went to school, on the border of the res. But, my mom always encouraged me to get off the res. And, that took me to Oklahoma. It took me to Kansas. It took me to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am in Long Island. But within those, moving from Oklahoma, I'd come home. Going to Kansas, then I'd come home. Then I'd go to Florida, then I'd come home. So it's kind of like just coming back to your roots and then eventually moving out to Long Island. But still, I go back, just to visit, do any native business that I need to take care of on the res. But still, it's kind of like that's where my roots are. And I think that was the point he was trying to make, is that you can go to California, but you're going to come back. So why go to California in the first place when you've got everything here?
Yeah.
So, but that's the mentality. Some people think, I have everything here.
Right.
Well, yeah, but you don't have experience off the reservation. It's just, and my uncle had told me that, how did he word it? Said something about being happy with his life once he left the reservation. I don't really know what he meant by that, because I really don't know the kind of life that he led when he was a kid living up on the reservation. I do know that he did attend the Thomas Indian School, which is probably a conversation for another time. But, I know that has always weighed on him. He couldn't stand anything to do with the Thomas Indian School, and he didn't want to talk about it. So he was happy to get off the res, and he did marry a non-native and had kids, but
yeah, and we're gonna do, by the way, people, we're going to do an entire episode on the schools that Rob is mentioning.
Yeah.
Because that needs to be addressed, and a lot of people don't know about it,
Oh, no. And it's good to see that if there's anything good about Facebook, it is it gives a platform for to expose stuff like that.
For sure.
And I haven't heard one single person where Facebook has deleted any residential school
Right. Yeah, me neither.
information or headline or anything like that.
Right. Absolutely. So we go to episode 2, directed by Sidney Freeland and written by Sterling. Bear gets jumped and beaten up by the NDN Mafia. Now, so these new guys that basically roll into town, they beat the shit out of Bear in the alley. And as he's waking up, he hears, oh, and oh my God. And it's the fucking warrior taking a piss against a dumpster in the alley. It just fucking, just, dude, what a great fucking character to have. You know what I mean? And good on him for doing a great job. But, oh my God. So Elora and Willie Jack are set up outside to sell meat pies next to a guy selling traditional medicines. Throughout the episode, the four encounter various members of their community. Cheese is kind to an old woman who thinks he is her grandson. The spirit from episode 1 has issues, and because... okay, so... This was fucking hilarious. So Bear's walking through like the doctor's hallway, and there are all these people, all these doors on each side, and you hear someone talking to themselves, and they're describing something wrong with their taint, and then Bear opens the door, and there's fucking the unknown warrior puts his fucking leather piece down because he's looking at his fucking balls. Oh my God, dude, that's so fucking hilarious, just randomly. But yeah, so so it seemed this episode was a lot about administration of government function and how like that works at the clinic.
The thing that sticks up best, the funniest to me, is that with the meat pies, there are vendors, if you want to call them that, on the res that do go around to the administration buildings, starting at 10 o'clock or sometimes even earlier, selling breakfast sandwiches. But it's kind of like, I thought that was funny with the meat pies because on our res, they have fry bread with whatever kind of, some sort of beans. Sometimes they'll have salt pork. A lot of times they'll have bacon and egg and cheese. Basically, it's a biscuit with a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, but it's made with fry bread.
Yeah.
And they'll go to the different administration buildings, whether it's the clinic, whether it's the area office of the aging building, or anything. But they'll make their rounds. So I thought that was pretty funny because that's so true that. Here they are sitting outside the actual clinic doing that. But, on our res, they go from building to building. But the other funny thing that I found hilarious was the woman behind the counter that was taking Bear's information. You have no idea how many women I know that fit that character to a T.
Uh-huh.
The way they roll their eyes and...
it's like the DMV is everywhere.
This girl with the upset stomach is selling meat pies outside. Anybody want one?
Right. Exactly.
And to a T, that's exactly how they are. It's so funny.
Yeah, then you have Zahn, who's the sheriff, and he's flirting with Sarah's character, Sarah Podemsky, playing Rita, mother of Bear. And she's like, just, Jesus Christ, can I just do my job, And he's like doing like this dramatic story. And I pointed my gun, and I had one single tear rolling down my face. She's like, okay, can I help you with something? Or, that was great. And then, of course, we have comedian Bobby Lee, formerly of Mad TV fame,
That guy is hilarious.
Oh my god! And he was playing Dr. Kang, and he's also hitting on Rita, which is Sarah Podemski's character, and she's just like, Jesus Christ, and he's like, so, it's just like creepy. It's like, I mean, yeah, she is, attractive. I would say that. That's at a minimum, I'd say that, and very talented, and she's also well known for producing as well. Let's see here. Oh, and then Zahn goes on, and then he's talking with the kids, and they're eating the hot fries or whatever. And he's
chips, yeah.
yeah, and he's like, oh no, he got a soda or something, and he's like, oh, that's sugar, that's white men's bullets, and he's like, I'm drinking an energy drink. It's natural, organic, made out of energy. Dude, just fucking, what a great line, you know what I mean? And just as serious as an actor as he is, because, I think he's a great dramatic actor. And, dude, it's kind of like a Leslie West almost. Not Leslie West, I'm sorry, Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Not...
or it's organic.
Yeah, organic. And, like, that was fucking great, organic. Exactly, I'm with you.
Made from energy.
Right. And I love that this show uses shit asses because that was a phrase that my grandma used to say constantly. So it's nice to hear that come back. Hey, fucking shit ass. So speaking of grandmas, so Cheese is walking through it. He had to get something, his eyes dilated. And there's this old lady, and she befriends him, and it's kind of like she thinks he's her grandson. And so they have this nice moment and stuff, and he takes her outside and stuff. But that was pretty cool. Respect for your elder type of thing. And what was great about it is, like, that's something he chose to do by himself, and he wasn't following the group.
Yeah.
That was his own private moment, and no one else knew he did it. That was kind of.
But nobody was surprised either, which was great because it's
absolutely.
Like, the upstanding kids on the res are like that. They do treat, for the most part, elders that way. If you got a woman that whether she's got shades on or got her eyes closed, a grandson, it's like,
for sure.
You talking to me? So
yeah,
they're not. It's like, hey, old lady, hey, old biddy, don't be talking to me. I'm not your grandson. No, we've always learned to respect our elders.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first things that I learned when I was a kid. Respect your elders.
Yeah, me too. Or you got your ass whooped.
Yeah.
So
yes or no. And that was a whole. That I really love that they added that into the series. Of the respect that the kids have for the elders.
So, yeah. And then Bear walks around and talks to. Is it his uncle? I think it's his uncle, Uncle Leon, the guy in the shop.
Yeah.
And, he's asking.
That's the funny thing that I couldn't figure out is who's related to who, because that was Daniel's uncle. But they did kind of touch on the family tree a little bit when they went to go see Gary Farmer's character.
Yeah.
And how, everybody says uncle, cousin, uncle, or, my aunt, not aunt, niece, but, stuff like that.
Yeah. Uncle Leon had a great line. And, he was asked, well, how do I learn how to fight? And he goes, well, for one, you can stop blocking punches with your face. That would be a good start.
And he said it so matter-of-factly.
Exactly. That makes total sense. Oh, my God. That was so funny. And then we had the Unknown Warrior checking out his taint. And then Dr. Khan getting creepy.
Yeah.
And then... And he's like, man, I've been here for 10 years. I've been on this reservation for 10 years. I want to get off this fucking... I want to go back home. And...
In China?
He goes, China? He goes, no, you asshole, San Diego. He's like, are you Navajo or Inuit? No.
I'm Korean.
Well, see? Yeah, I'm fucking Korean.
That dude. That whole series, man, it just makes you laugh.
Oh, for sure. It's really well done. It's heavy and it's light,
Mm-hmm.
So on to episode 3, Uncle Brownie, directed by Black Horse Lowe, written by Sterling. Still concerned about the attacks by the NDA Mafia, the Res Dogs go to find Laura's Uncle Brownie to see if he'll teach them how to fight. Tales are told of Brownie, the powerful warrior, and how he knocked out numerous people in a bar fight. They spend the day trying to help Brownie sell his ancient weed, in the process learning indigenous style about his ways of fighting. Oh my God, dude.
No, I don't know any native that does that buries their weed like that. Just for the record.
Right, that's like pothead paranoia,
Yeah.
But oh my God, that was so funny.
Yeah.
The episode starts out and it's an old white senior citizen couple driving down the fucking highway, bitching on this like a Sunday drive, probably going to a casino or something, and they're talking about they get money from the casinos and like they know and we stole their land and blah, blah, blah. And then they fucking hit the deer, doosh. And then it cuts to the Res Dogs fucking pulling over, and they're going to load the roadkill up for some backstraps. That was fucking hilarious.
Tainted meat.
Right? Exactly. So they go to see Alora's uncle, who winds up to be her cousin's uncle, which is Uncle Brownie. And he's like this paranoid guy, and then there's a sign that says "Stay out, fuckers." It's a sign that as soon as you pull up, so the Res Dogs start covering their eyes because there's all these skulls of different animals and stuff, and like, oh my God, it's a fucking owl! Don't look at the owl! What the fuck? And then they start saying like he's a shapeshifter and shit when they fucking run, and he's fucking starting spitting, and they have the spitting war back and forth. Not at each other, but that's pretty funny that they thought he was a shapeshifter.
Yeah. Well, he could be.
Right. Right.
He had the medicine.
Yeah, and there are hundreds of holes that were dug up in this guy's yard, which is like kind of half foresty. And he, wound up finding this big jar of pot that he buried in like 1990. Oh my God.
He wants to sell it for $30.
Right. Yeah, you got to take me to. So they ask him, to train to fight, and he's like, no. Get out of here, blah, blah, blah. He keeps on telling him to get out of there,
Fuckers.
Yeah, exactly. But then what happens when his niece comes to talk to him, alone in his, when he's sitting at the table there, looking at the picture about her mom, because she doesn't know much about her mom because her mom died when she was a baby, and asks him if, she'll tell him about mom, and he said no. He wouldn't. And then, like, as she's walking out, he goes, not because I don't want to. He goes, but because I'll cry. And I thought that was really, like, dude, that whole scene was really fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
There was some heavy drama there. That was really fucking bravo, Uncle Brownie.
Yeah.
But so then Uncle Brownie says for $30 in a ride into town to help sell the weed, he'll teach them how to fight. And
then they see the deer in the back trunk.
Yeah. What the hell's that? Why is it in the car? Don't fucking drop it here, motherfucker. And then he's like carrying his weed, and he's like, creator's medicine. And then he goes devil, or he's like, alcohol's the devil's work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go to the dispensary, and he tries to sell his weed there, and he's like, no, man. So turns out the guy at the dispensary gives him some stuff, and he gets fucking hammered. Dude, when he's sitting in the car, and he's just like, got that
grin.
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious. But yeah, so
that's the one thing that I did like that. I mean, even though they did show the bar scene where he's beating up all those people in like 2 minutes or whatever.
yeah, in a very campy Burt Reynolds kind of,
Right.
funny.
But that was that's one of the stereotypes that I can't stand every time that, you present Indians in a drama. It's like, the drunken Indians, the drunken Indian. That's a stereotype that we need to get away from. And it was good to see that they did not, I don't want to say highlight, but they didn't bring to the forefront either that, when they walked into the bar, there were people in the bar, but they weren't. They looked white to me. I mean, it wasn't a bar full of drunken Indians.
Yeah.
So I was, that was one thing that I was glad to see that.
Yeah, it was the town bar. It wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
Stereotype number 3 and action.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, dude, you hear shit and it's just fucking ignorant. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Relax about the, unbelievable.
Firewater.
Yeah. And then, so episode 4. Oh, and the one thing about the fight, he's and the bar, because it keeps on getting progressively, like, you hear the story first and it was 10 people. Then he tells the story and it was like 20 people. And then they get to the bar, and the bar's like, no, it was fucking like 30 people. And he's like, I probably could have took on 40 because I had some meth. I thought it was a line of coke.
Yeah, that you made.
Yeah, exactly. That you made. And they're like, oh, okay, fair. And then they go, okay, beers and, buds and backstrap,
There you go.
And it's like, yeah, we'll
From the tainted meat.
yeah. And they go outside to get the deer out of the trunk, and a fucking blood bomb just goes off in Uncle Brownie's face. Oh my God, that was so funny.
It was gross but funny.
Totally. Will someone give me something to wipe my face? Oh my God.
How you making out with those back straps?
Yeah, exactly. Shit. Okay, so episode 4 directed by Sidney Freeman, written by Bobby Wilson and Tommy Pico. Bear's dad, a rapper, is hired to perform for the local clinic's diabetes awareness fry bread feast. That's hard to say. Diabetes awareness fry bread feast. Bear spends a California fund buying him a gift, a beaded medallion of a microphone that really just resembles a giant penis.
Balls.
Dude, oh my
Balls.
God. Yeah, dick and balls. We should make hats.
And then they're pointing at all the other beadwork that looks like a very phallic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the same mold, whatever. All of them are dick and balls, but they make them into like a rocket ship or a microphone. But, yeah.
What are these?
Right.
That's the cable. That's white cable. Oh, okay.
Holy shit. Yeah, it was like 400, or was it $400?
No, it was $40. But because of the rush shortage, you had to charge $50 extra.
Oh, okay.
So it was $90.
Yeah. Nice.
And Laura didn't want to hand over the extra $50.
Yeah, and the rapper is played by
Stenjati.
Yeah, and so he's the guy who sings the fry bread song from episode.
Greasy fry bread.
Yeah.
He's actually quite a talented rapper. There was another song in that episode that is also by Stenjati. It was the song that when Laura showed up to his window, he had the headphones on listening to tunes, and she showed up to his window with with meat pies. And that song that he was listening to was actually Stenjati as well. Yeah. So he had actually 2, maybe 3 songs in that episode, not including the Greasy Fry Bread.
Nice.
But he's a pretty cool dude. I've met him at the Nammies, and this was a couple of years ago.
And the Nammies are, for people who don't know?
the Native American Music Awards,
Yes,
which
sir.
have been at the Seneca Niagara Casino since I think the 10th year, and we have yet to have the 20th annual because of the COVID. The last 2 years have been. They've still been doing the virtual award ceremony, so people are still contributing their songs and videos and everything like that. So they kind of had the virtual
show,
but they haven't actually had the live show. So we haven't had the 20th anniversary, or yeah, I guess you could call it the 20th anniversary show. But he was there a few years ago, and I almost didn't recognize him because he's lost. Dude, he's got lost like 75 pounds or so, because that guy, he's getting pretty ripped now, but he was a meat pie back then.
Nice.
So, but he's still a pretty cool dude, but
yeah,
Mr. Tattoo. So, but
that's
What the kids are doing these days, Rob,
uh-huh.
But okay, so when we get to episode 5, Come and Get Your Love, directed by Black Horse Lowe and written by Sterling. And so Cheese spends a day on a ride along with Big, who's Zahn's character. Along the way, they meet Bucky, who makes sculptures from stolen copper. Big gets teased by a couple of white cops, and the Indian Mafia get busted for a stolen car. Finally, Big tells Cheese why he became a cop, a story that involves the Deer Lady, who has been a presence.
Yeah,
who has been a presence in his life since he was a child.
and she has not aged.
Yeah, right.
She's still hot.
For sure. And what you call it? Isn't this where oh my god, come on, brain fart.
West Studi?
Yeah. Thank you. Duh. Isn't this the one where Wes is on the right? This is
Yeah, where they found him passed. Well, I wouldn't say passed out. He was sleeping on the bench outside the store.
Yeah, he was meditating roadside.
What it was the funniest thing when he was talking about, somebody stole my book. If you see anybody, with a string theory book, that's my book.
Right.
Like, I was reading string theory. And then they go to the salvage yard and they see the book right on the guy's desk.
Yeah.
String theory. And he's describing what string theory is. Oh, man, that whole thing was hilarious.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, the comedy in here is really good. It seemed to lessen within the, as the episodes progressed, like that type of broad humor lessened a little bit. But it depends. But, I think they'll come back with it stronger, or at least more consistent, but it's still great. You know what I mean? I'm not poo-pooing it. So.
That was my favorite episode.
Yeah?
Yeah, with West Studi, because his character, I mean, as you know, that I've met West as well, but it just talking to him in the normal conversation, he loves to laugh, and he does have a pretty good sense of humor, but to see him shine like that, and, talk like that in the show, it's just hilarious.
Right, because I usually cast him as a hard ass,
Yeah.
Or hardened, I should say,
There you go.
But this was like totally fucking hippie fucking Wes, like, hey, brother.
There you go.
Woo. And, yeah.
But the whole siren thing, he goes, my siren's out. You got to hold the iPhone up. I got an app for it. You just got to hold the iPhone up to the speaker.
Right. Absolutely. Just like Woke of the World.
There you go.
But let's see. Okay, so episode 6, Hunting. So Willie Jack, our favorite character, and her father, Leon, spend a day in the woods together, hunting deer and grappling with the grief over the death of Daniel a year earlier. So Leon is Willie Jack's dad.
Yeah. Yep.
So the guy who said, Stop Using Your Face to Block Punches is Willie Jack's dad. The guy with the kick-ass printer.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty good episode.
That was.
There was some good acting there for sure.
Yeah.
But and it starts to hint at certain things that we've been waiting to find out that we don't find out yet. And things start to be put together in that part of this background of what's happening, And of course, at this time, they've gathered, quite a bit of money. They need some more, but they're getting close, and so anyway, so on to episode 7, California Dreamin'. Directed by Tazba Rochevez, and also written by Tazba. Alora takes her driver's test after multiple previous failures. Instead of completing the test, her instructor, who's Bill Burr, by the way, takes her on a wild ride. He talks about her mother and reveals more details of her death in a flashback we discover. Well, we'll get to that part after we talk about the rest of the episode. Yeah, so it opens up with cornfeed in a forest, and there's a cloaked figure standing there. And then it says, 1 year later, and then you hear, "What's up, shit ass?" And it's like, "Oh, what up, white Jesus?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, hunting season, let's see. Yeah, they start talking about all the things she could be. Why didn't you ever leave? Is this from the previous one?
Oh, this is the one.
Okay.
It's where they were talking in the woods about, her leaving and why he never went off the reservation. There's no need for her to go off the reservation.
Yeah. Okay.
She's saying, about the goals that she could achieve in California, and he's like, "Well, you can do that here.
Yeah.
We got dogs here."
They're on illegal land. They weren't supposed to be on that land, and they were monitoring the fucking GoPro cams, the trail cams.
Oh, and that when he was talking about the Texas ranchers, that was from the previous episode too, where she had met up with that white doctor who had the rich house.
Oh yeah, she hooked up my other favorite character, Rita. Hooked up with this guy, and he was had a what was his tattoo? Was it the Dixie?
With feathers on tattoo.
Yeah. And he's like, "What was it? Oh, I love being with Native women or something." It was fucking creepy,
It was very creepy.
Yeah. So she.
Now that's a stereotype.
Yeah, for sure. And he was like the great white savior guy.
Yeah.
So she fucking bailed on that quicker than shit, He was a doctor.
Yep.
But, there's this artist out here, Rita, just saying. But, let's see. Oh, guess the fuck what? Backstrap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we get to California Dreamin', and it's a driving test with Bill Burr. He comes around, and he's got this hilarious fucking horseshoe fucking wig hairpiece thing. And he was her ex-coach, and she was she starts crying, and he decides to take over for this parallel parking thing, and then he gets a call. And he's like, "What? Where? What?" He's like, "Hey, we got to go do this thing." And so he gets in, and after a 27 fucking 100-point turn, finally gets out of the parking spot and bails and pulls into this motel. He fucking gets a 38 out of his fucking sock, and he runs into this hotel, and fucking, you hear a couple of shots ring out, and, I guess his daughter was in there, and she's freaking out. That was fucking hilarious. Oh my God, Bill Burr. The fact that they got him, is great,
Oh, yeah.
Because he does very few things.
I thought I read a interview or heard an interview from Bill Burr that when they approached him about it, there was hands down, like there's no way that he was going to not do it.
Yeah.
So he was totally into it. And I'm not sure if there were any previous episodes that had already aired or at his disposal for him to see what the series was about. But I'm sure he obviously would have got the script at least. But, after he read his role and everything and what the whole series is about, it's just, absolutely. He was all on board.
Yeah, and a bunch of these people, I don't know how many, when I say a bunch, could be, 2, 3 of the individuals involved with the show are tied to New Mexico. He was in Breaking Bad, which shot in New Mexico, so there could be friendships there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Professional friendships that carried over, Yeah. And Bill Burr, what he does very little, but he's in the biggest things doing very little.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like, if you're going to do it, But, so that means, for him being on it gave a stamp of approval to a whole other group of people who may not have watched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, so then there's a shootout in the parking lot. The car gets shot up, and they have to go see the meth salvage people at the edge of town. And so had to fix the mirror or whatever is going on. They're talking, and turns out Bill Burr knew her mom, and he got to tell her a little bit about her mom. And when they walk back up to tell her, tell them the car's done, I'm like, are you guys crying? Are they crying? What the hell's going on?
Are they crying?
Yeah. No, I ain't crying. No, I ain't crying. Come on. But, so he winds up passing her for the driver's test. So, and she's not going to turn him in for, taking him on a, 5-count
Wild
felony.
ride.
Yeah. Assault with a deadly weapon,
But the funny thing about that, one thing that I found humorous was the nickname that her mom gave him. And I can't remember what the name is, like, Chiguchi or something. I forget what it is. But, you could see the smirk when he was telling the story that, warrior. And she was kind of smirking about it. So then when she dropped him off at his house, she jumped out the car and like, oh, by the way, it means toilet.
Oh, totally.
You know how many people I told that story?
Yeah. I probably told that story 1,500 times.
But in all honesty, that happens.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Remember when the big fad was that was going on in the 90s where everyone's like tattooing Chinese words on their arm?
Oh yeah, soup.
Yeah, soup, your mother's a dragon,
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
Well, here's a story for you, because Charlie Hill, the comedian, he was on Richard Pryor's variety show. I don't know how many seasons Richard Pryor had his variety show back in the 70s, but one of his comedians that he had on was Charlie Hill. So as Richard Pryor's introducing Charlie Hill, he had said that Charlie Hill had given him an Indian name in backstage before the show. And the Indian name that he gave me was Hamchi. And it means black eagle. And, he was very honored that Charlie Hill had given him that name. But that's not what that means. Hamchi is a male black man. Nothing more than that. Just a male black man, Hamchi. So in Seneca, anyway. I mean, I believe he's from Canada. But when I saw that comment, I was like, "What did he just say?" And he said, "Hamchi." So I'm like, that's hilarious. Charlie Hill calls Richard Pryor Hamchi, which means black man. So it does not mean black eagle or whatever Charlie Hill told Richard Pryor that it meant. But
right.
He carried that badge of honor. Yeah. But I don't know if Charlie Hill ever told him the truth at the end. But still, it was that whole introduction was making me laugh because, dude, that's not what Hound Jeep means.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, that does happen, and it kind of makes me wonder if maybe that's what Sterling Harjo had kind of was referring to, that people will do that to non-natives, black or white.
Oh, for sure.
Give them some sort of derogatory Indian name and say, "Oh, that's a badge of honor."
Yeah. Yeah. When I was working at this one restaurant, so I'm back in the kitchen. And I was a server. This is after my dad died, so I took a server job for a couple of years. And so I'm back there, and all the guys are talking. And I'd been there for like 6 months at that point, when they're talking. And I'm like, "Hey, guys." I'm like, it's funny? And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Everyone always assumes that the older white dude doesn't understand Spanish." See? What the fuck, way? But, yeah, that was funny after, but, yeah.
Oh, no.
Sente. The fuck? But, yeah. So, okay, so we get to episode 8. And it starts with the fucking, the unknown warrior at the fucking window in another vision, scaring the shit out of fucking Bear. And they're at the breakfast table. Let's see. Oh, wait, before we go on, at the end after she gets the lights, she goes and meets, or she goes, who's she looking for? I think she's looking for Bear.
Yeah, no, she was looking for Daniel because he didn't show up.
So it's a flashback. Okay, yeah. So after learning about how her mother died and everything, in a flashback, we discover, she was looking for Daniel. She's looking all over for him in the place that they hung out at in this abandoned building that's kind of half deconstructed. Apparently, that's where Daniel had hung himself. That was fucking, dude. That the fact that like I knew kind of something weird was going on with how he died, but that was like a good that it wasn't spoiled. You know what I mean? Because usually someone will blow it,
right?
Or they leave too big of a hint, wink, wink. But the fact that they pulled it off was pretty amazing, I would say.
Yeah.
But so we get to episode 8 called Saturday, directed by Sterling and written by McGeezy Pensano. As the Res Dogs prepare to leave to California, a tornado approaches. Most of the community takes shelter in the church basement. Uncle Brownie Uncle Brownie rides through the streets looking for the right tools to divert the tornado. And Beer's guiding spirit, William Knifeman, appears again to ask Bear whether he has completed all the tasks he needs to do before leaving town. Together in the church, members of the community, including the Res Dogs and the Indian Mafia, talk to each other and make key decisions about their future. Dude, Uncle Brownie rides again with that, oh my God, with the riding naked on the riding lawnmower was fucking, oh my God, that was so fucking hilarious. Oh my God. Put him in everything.
Oh, I know it.
That was really, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. If I have an axe, I can, turn the tornado around. I just need an axe.
Right. Just an axe.
Took her forever to find an axe.
Right. And so for people who don't know, and since they enjoyed the show Reservation Dogs, and you don't know what a reservation is, there are 326 reservations in the United States. Most of the tribal land based in the United States is set aside by federal government as Native American reservations. In California, about half of its reservations are called ranchillas. Is that correct? In New Mexico, most reservations are called pueblos. In some western states, notably Nevada, there are Native American areas called Indian colonies. Populations are total census count, blah, 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 blah. And this is from, if you go on Wikipedia, it lists all the reservations and populations and of, people that didn't need to be discovered, man. They're already here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, so what do you rate this series out of 12 cups of coffee?
Dude, I've watched it. I've watched the series 3 times already, so I'm gonna have to go 12 out of 12, man.
All right, I'm with you. All right, full pot of coffee.
And I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah, full pot of coffee.
Watch it again before the second season starts up.
Yeah, because the second season is on the way, and not a lot of people seem to be podcasting this outside of the native world, and shame on you guys, man. This fucking show is hilarious. If you're a fan of comedy,
really
this is the show to watch. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
the people in it are, and if you think that way, you need to learn something anyway. But
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I thought this show was fucking hilarious, dude.
Yep.
Well written, well
Indeed.
directed, great cast. I think it's going to be like one of those shows like 20 years from now, and everyone who was on it, you know what I mean, is going to be their it person and whatever, there'll be someone who's, huge action star, someone who's a huge, drama actress or, huge director. I think we're going to get a lot of great films out of this group of characters that Starlin has assembled along with Mr.
Well, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a boilerplate program too, where it's going to be an intro to a lot of other native programs. And I don't want to say FUBU, but I think it's going to be a lot of, why are we not tapping into the native resources that we have?
Right. Yeah, and who's already developed shows about Native Americans?
Exactly.
I mean, what kind of people have them waiting on standby, like a documentary series and an educational series?
Right. Exactly.
I don't know, someone like you and me.
Yeah, I'm on the side wing, man.
Absolutely. But
I'm on the wings of that.
And hopefully it will, get people to fucking release the stick a little bit and,
Want to get on board.
Yeah, because how many, just by the, there's how many, 10 million white women that go around? My great-grandmother was a Cherokee princess.
Yeah.
Yep. But, So, yeah. The other thing I was wondering, I was looking at the calendar, and I was like, wait a minute. And I'm looking, and I see, how do they call it on the calendar? I don't want to screw this up because I want to quote exact. Oh, Native American Heritage Day is Friday, November 26th, but Black Friday's listed first. So apparently you have from midnight to noon. And then the black community gets from noon to 11:59, and then it goes into, more leftovers.
I thought that was what Reagan had declared Native American Day, but it wasn't until Clinton, I think it was, that actually proclaimed the month of November as Native American Heritage Month.
Yeah.
So, but,
with all the woke, stuff going on, like literally, I thought the first thing to go would be that, not Native American Heritage Day, but Black Friday.
Oh yeah.
Like you couldn't name it Super Sale or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Monday is like White Monday, which is weirder.
It is.
And then there's going to be Yellow Tuesday. It's like, you guys, stop. Anyway, what do I know?
Everything's got a color.
Right.
We all bleed the same.
Totally. There's only one race. It's the human. Quit dividing us. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, people don't understand evolution. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We're all different colors because of evolution.
Science.
And then everybody delegated their own class. Well, you're darker than me, so you're below me.
Yeah, exactly. Below me.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Some shit never changes, Rob,
No, you're right.
But, yeah, it's, it is stupid, Yeah, I never understood it. Because I'd be like, hey, why are the Egyptians white? Because that's fucking Africa.
Exactly.
And I'd get in trouble for it. And like, what? Like, dude, what? Like, oh. And people are like, you could, like, when I was 5, I looked at the Grand Canyon and I saw that, that's water, all the different levels. And you look at the Sphinx and it's the same thing. I knew that when I was 5, and they're like, everyone's surprised. Oh, it's waterware. No shit, dude. I knew that when I was 5, man. I didn't have to spend $100,000 and go to Harvard and be a dick,
Yeah.
Shit. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show, and I look forward to more. So how was your week in general?
I got some shows coming up. In regard to
You shot Cheap Trick. I
did.
Not with the camera. Yeah.
That was a great show. And in my blog I mentioned that the first and only time I saw them was when I was 12 years old, and I was 6 rows back from Tom Peterson. And at the end of the show, or actually, I believe it was still when Rick Nielsen was doing, when people would come out and actually do guitar solos and drum solos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of gone to the wayside for the past few years.
Because everyone quit coke.
Yeah. But back then, I believe it was after Rick Nielsen or during Rick Nielsen's guitar solo that he would just take like a coffee can or stuff like that, and he would just throw picks out into the audience.
Yeah.
And I was able to score a guitar pick. But
right on.
This one, he was kind of like walking over to his guitar pick or guitar tech, grabbing a handful of picks, walking out to whatever part of the stage and throwing them out. And he'd go back and grab another handful and go throw them. He must have done that maybe 4 or 5 times, but
yeah.
I was kind of like way over on the side of the stage, and it was just like pigeons on breadcrumbs.
So what you're saying is he couldn't move that fast, old man.
Yeah. Not only that, but I think the novelty is, if I still had the original Cheap Trick Rick Nielsen guitar pick, it'd probably be worth money right now.
Yeah.
But here we are in 2021, and whether it's a signature pick or not, it's probably worth $3.
I had a Cheap Trick belt buckle.
Ooh.
Yep. It said Cheap Trick, Cheap Trick, Cheap Trick, Cheap Trick.
Yeah, one of those ones.
Yep. Yeah, and then when you moved it, it had like that gridded, like mirrored, it was fancy 1970s, Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I put in for a request for Jason Bonham, and me and the guitarist are Facebook friends, so I tried to do it the professional way, the reach out to the band management.
Yeah.
And I actually sent him an email asking what the band manager's name or who I could send my request to. And the first 2 initial emails I never got a response to, so I actually messaged him on Facebook, and I asked him what the band management contact was, because I wanted to, reach out for a photo pass. And he said that he would do what he could.
Yeah.
Because I've actually shared with him the gallery that I did at Madison Square Garden when they opened up for Peter Frampton.
Wow.
So he knew my work. he likes my work, and he knows that I'm not just some guy up the street looking for a photo pass or a free ticket.
Yeah.
So he said that just because he thinks that, in his words, yeah, just because he knows that I'm legit and that I'm cool, that he's gonna, talk to the band manager and see if he can't get me a photo pass, and that show's on Friday.
Right on.
And keeping on with the Native Month, Rose, my wife, we have a show to go to at the Joyce Theater in Manhattan to see they're called Indigenous Enterprise. And I think their first show at the theater was tonight. And they have a show each night, and they have a matinee and a late show. I don't know if they have a late show on Sunday, or I think they do. But they had 2 shows on Sunday, so we're going to go to the 2:00 show.
Nice.
And we'll probably either grab brunch or stick in the city and have dinner after the show. But as you may have seen on Facebook, on my Facebook page, I've been highlighting Native artists that I've had the pleasure and privilege of shooting in my photographic career.
Yeah.
So surprisingly, I've shot quite a few Native artists. So
For sure, man.
yeah. So.
Absolutely.
Well, here's a question for you.
All
And
right.
I've reached out to another Native guy, but I want to ask you. There is a Hawaiian Native. She goes by the name of Taimane, Taimane. That's just her artist name, Taimane. I believe that's how she pronounces it, but it's Hawaiian, so I could be totally fucking up her name.
Yeah.
But she was born in Honolulu, so she would be considered a Hawaiian Native.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that she's Native American? Because she is Polynesian. Her family is Hawaiian Native before colonialism. So
I don't. It's a weird thing because technically, I mean, Hawaii was only put into a state in '58, and this isn't like some type of escapism. And, oh my God, it's trying to. No. That would make more sense because it's Polynesian rooted.
Yeah, right.
So that I would call them, Native Islanders. Right?
Right.
Yeah, so but if I guess however they want to say, they can say, but I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I reached out to her before, or I reached out to her last week to see if she does consider herself indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
Basic indigenous / a Native American, but I haven't heard back from her yet.
Well, indigenous, yeah.
Right.
But depending on who wins the wars.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing too, and the reason why I was thinking that she'd be more indigenous / Native American is because Jason Momoa considers himself indigenous because he's Hawaiian. He's a Hawaiian Native.
Yeah, but he's also like part Cherokee or something.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's got something else in there. Yeah, like Irish Cherokee or something.
Oh, okay.
So he's got,
but I know he does Native American
programming.
Activist. He's an activist too.
Yeah, and the show that he did in Canada.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does.
Pretty good.
He did a series called The Red Road, which was really good.
Yeah. He
played a Native American runaway. And then what is that show that you're referring to up north?
He also does another show called C, I think it's called, on Netflix.
Yeah, but that's I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like more like a science fiction.
Right.
It's in the third season. I've only gotten to 3/4 of the first season. I haven't. It really hasn't really captured me.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm looking to see what the name of that show is because it's going to bother me.
I think you're the one that actually told me about the show.
Yeah, I watched. You know. That's why it's driving me crazy.
Yeah. But it was good. It was good. I mean, I've watched both. He was making a follow-up season, but I don't know if it's going into season 3 or if it's going into season 4.
Yeah.
Where the fur trade,
Frontier,
and everything like that. Frontier, yeah.
Yeah. That was a fucking great show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it ran from 2016 to 2018.
Yeah.
And C is on Apple TV, and Batista is in season 3 with.
Okay.
But yeah, Jason seems to be a cool guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
So I wouldn't mind getting him on the Native American Music Awards. And to be honest with you, they had a couple years ago. They had the IZ, the guy that did the ukulele, the big guy, the Hawaiian native guy, IZ. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that big song that he did though?
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah. Yep. Wonderful World.
Yep.
And but it was like a 40-year anniversary or something like that. I'm like, that would be a great idea for the Native American Music Awards to do kind of like a Hawaiian Native tribute.
Well, I know his. We know his nephew because Seth worked with him at an event.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and that guy, he can sing like hell, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we could get him.
Yeah, and he's he lives in Jersey, so it's not like a hike. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So he would totally, drive up for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he works a lot in New York City, Jersey, Atlantic City. But
I'm gonna have to follow him. It's just next time he's in the city or something. I have to reach out to him.
And before we forget, we want to mention Paulina Alexis again, who is our favorite character in the show. She's 21. She's Nakota Sioux Nation Reserve out of Alberta, Canada. She lives in a one-bedroom apartment in Edmonton while her family on the reservation where her house on the reservation is being renovated. And this is from the New York Times, by the way.
Not that you're stalking or anything.
Yeah. But, no, I just wanted to give her... She's also in Ghostbusters, so I look forward to seeing her in that.
About that.
And congratulations on that. I will be watching whatever you do until I don't breathe anymore. How's that? Because I think you're amazing. Yeah, she's just great. You know what I mean?
Yep.
No matter... Even if the camera's not on her, the camera's like... She's doing something interesting. Look at her. Because even her little ticks are going to be good, So very nice to see,
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the young actors coming up, I'd have to say this cast is pretty solid.
I totally agree.
Because a lot of casts are just so, I hate to use the term, white bread, that it's so fucking fake. That and this is seems to be as real as you can possibly get without being a reality show at some point, minus the lampooning. But we look forward to see her in Ghostbusters with Bill Murray, Paul Rudd, and Finn Wolfhard.
I did see Paul Rudd. I'm like, what the hell is it? Some sort of spoof or something? I didn't even watch it.
He's like Egon's son or something.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the grandkids, I guess, finding what.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But, easy with your tobacco over there, Rob. You choking there, buddy?
Okay.
or was that a drink you were like, whoa?
No, the cigar is out.
The cigar is out. Wow, I didn't even go through a bottle of wine. I'm on like glass 3.
Well, I had a couple of glasses last night out of the last of my bottle. So
Right.
I've been nursing it.
Right. So, hey, everyone, don't forget to go to vaudevilleppress.com and creativity on Spotify and wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and check out Woke of the Worlds. Came out last week.
Fantastic, by the way. Fantastic.
Thank you. It was, dude, the thing that my hiccup that I couldn't figure out for 4 days was so incredibly fucking stupid.
Uh-oh.
Like a 20-year-old would have figured it out in like 3.5 seconds. You know what I mean? And good on them for that. But yeah, I was just like, no fucking way. Really? Okay. But anyway, I'm almost done writing the next one, which will be
Your Christmas special.
Yeah, the Christmas a Christmas Carol parody. Name still.
Carol A. Christmas.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of a Carol Christmas, comma Carol, or how did I phrased it? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You're gonna have more guest appearances for your new project?
Well, I mean, we're gonna have I'll have other voices on there, other people doing voices. Rhonda's coming back, and
Yep, that's what I was getting at.
yeah, Rhonda's coming back, and she will be playing Carol.
Ooh.
And so it's a so basically what I did is I took the original Mercury Theater script, or I'm sorry, the Campbell Soup Theater, because Mercury he went over to Campbell Soup, and I took that script, which is actually taken from the exact script that the original author used for the play. So I'm parroting him, not Orson Welles necessarily. So
Got it.
yeah, and our lead character will be played by Mr. Vito Bupkis
Nice.
as the Scrooge.
Nice.
So
You'll make a fine Scrooge.
what do you think about that, Vito?
It's fucking Vito Bupkis Scrooge, you fuck.
Thanks, Vito. Now go back to drinking my bourbon.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Anyway,
Oh, he's got your bourbon and you got the wine.
right? Yeah,
That should be a song.
you got the bourbon and I got the wine.
Bow, 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 bow.
Oh, did you hear?
There's a country song.
When George would start telling a story, and I'd go.
Yes.
Oh
Ding,
my
ding,
God.
ding, 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 ding.
That was pretty funny, but Anyway, so I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Hang out for a quick second, Rob, after I wrap this
I
up.
will do.
But when you think you're the first and you know you're the not because you don't want to actually accept the facts at hand, that's just creativity talking. But no more bullshit. Rob, love you, brother.
Love you, man.
We'll see you on the next one. And everybody, episode 116 of Creativity Talking about Reservation Dogs. 12 cups out of 12 cups. That's a full pot of coffee. Remember to check that box, like, subscribe, buy us a cup of coffee at cupofcoffee.com. You can even tip on vincentcustos.com if you like the content. And we will see you next time, everybody. Have a good night. Rob, any last words, sir?
I'm lost for words.
How about we name the cricket not Andrew, or the Undrew.
There you go.
Undrew.
We found Andrew.
Anyways,
Jiminy Cricket. We
Jiminy.
found Andrew.
Jiminy, Yeah, then what happened, boy? No way, fell down the nuclear reaction core. Are you serious? Yeah. What? And he broke his leg in 17 places? Now that I know you can do that sound effect, I'll be like, dude, do that in the phone and send it to me as a file, would you?
Okay.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, dude, I'm serious. Send me like a 15-second to 30-second of that, and that'd be fucking great.
It's too funny.
Because that's going in everywhere. What's that? Yeah, when we're interviewing people and they like get nervous or something, or they do a pause, you automatically hit the crickets. But,
have you seen Andrew?
I don't know where I've been. I've just been around. I don't know. Where have you been? I've been waiting at the city limits for you guys since like 1973.
But shit.
Oh, man.
Anyway. All right, everybody, signing off. Biff, you got any last words?
No, would you guys fucking end it so I can fucking go home already?
All right.
That's what she said.
Right?
Well, good night, Mr. Armstrong. Nice seeing you, my brother.
Later, Biff.
All right. Biff, have a good night. Rob, love you, buddy. And we'll see you next time, guys.
Peace.